Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Matt Barton are kicking off the late 20-cent pick four at Woodbine on Sunday with the $100,000 Sir Barton Stakes. It's carded as race number 8, and you can play this pick four or the entire card with a new DRF Bets account. Sign up at bets.drf.com, receive a 300% deposit match. Here's the field for the Sir Barton. It's a short field, but it's a pretty competitive race, Matt. Your morning line favorite, we go to the outside, the number 6 Kingsport. Kingsport won 4 starts back. Take a look at those fractions. We've talked about it in our Race of the Day stakes previews. I've never seen a thoroughbred race recently, where the leader gets to go 28-1, 53-3, 117-1 in a mile and a 16th race. Somehow they let Kingsport do it. Not surprisingly, he won. To his credit, though, 2 starts after that, he came back and won the Bunty Lawless. I'm willing to forgive his most recent 2 losses. Both of them are sprints. I think he wants to go a little longer.
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, you brought up that Elgin 4 starts back. I know he won that day, but that's not the running style that he's going to get here on Sunday. He's going to be coming from off the pace because there are at least 1 or 2 other horses that are going to be much more aggressively ridden. He won this race last year, the Sir Barton. So, I mean, clearly he has an affinity for this distance. He's 4 of 10 lifetime at it. I think he makes plenty of sense in here. But to be honest with you, 8 to 5 on the morning line, I don't know that he has any giant edge on this field. He is certainly a contender, no question about it. I would just be looking at some other alternatives, saying I think they have every bit as good a chance as he does.
I agree with that assessment, and one of those other contenders is the number 2 Thor's Rocket, who beat 4 of these common foes, including Kingsport in the 7 furlong Overskate Stakes last time out. Now, Thor's Rocket is a horse that was a nibbler, and it looked like maybe after beginning his career with 4 of his first 5 wins, he had lost the will to win. But he got a nice setup last time out. They were going in front of him. He sat last. He altered course to the far outside, and he got it done to beat the Philly Red Cabernet. This is a gelding that I wonder might be better as a late-running closer.
100%.
Late-running sprinter.
Yeah, to me, I look at him and say the real kind of question for me, it's not the form that he's in. Obviously, he's feeling quite good. It's just I know he's won at the distance, but I think he's better going that shorter distance, whether it is 7 furlongs coming from off the pace, whether it is even going a 1-turn mile. And you saw he just got a little bit short 2 back in that Bunty Lawless, and he ran into Kingsport again, who we'll talk about. It's just an instance where I think he is better going a little bit shorter. And if you believe that 2-1 on the morning line, he's one that I'd be against.
Distance might also be a big question mark for the expected pace setter, and that's the stretch-out sprinter, the number 3. Boreal Spirit. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Boreal Spirit has shown legitimate sprint speed, pressing horses like a Karen Road and some other very fast ones like Kingsport, and he's a fast horse. The problem is he doesn't win very often, and a mile and a 16th might be pushing it.
I mean, unless they let him go 28 seconds for the opening quarter, I can't imagine him being able to see out this distance. I think he's best going considerably shorter. I think he's nothing more than a pace presence.
But he could also, if you believe this pace projector, he could set things up for a horse like the 5 Escaminzin, who's a little bit slow on paper, turning all the way back from 13 furlongs, or more importantly, the 4 Silent Poet, who we'll get to in a little bit. He might be the target for these horses. You see the 1 King in His Court all the way at the back of the pack. And then you see that blue bar that says favors horse on or near the early lead, and you get a little bit worried. But I think King in His Court's actually a very dangerous horse in this race. If you watch his most recent start, he was completely bottled up in the stretch against a very good field, and it looked like he had some run, and he's got some back figures. Unlike some of these horses, he wants the distance, but the question is, does he get enough pace?
Yeah, really, that's what it boils down to. Do you think there's going to be enough to help set him up? I also think he's a little bit dirtied up. Not that he's run poorly recently, but look, those 5 runs prior to that most recent start, which came first off the layoff, those are all on turf. He's considerably better on synthetic. He's 4 of 13 overall on grass. He's on synth, rather. He's 0 of 10 lifetime on the turf. So there's a part of me that looks at it and says, this is the surface that he wants. He wants this distance. But boy, if this thing is a snail's pace up front, I think he's up against it.
So we look at the pace projector and we see that the 3 might be a little bit distance compromised, and the 5 might be a little bit class compromised. And sitting right behind them is our top pick as we throw up our selections, and that's the number 4, the Stronach homebred Silent Poet, who finished a good 3rd last time out in the Overskate. Didn't love the way he changed back to his wrong lead when flattening out, but this is a horse who's very lightly raced. He's a 3-year-old. I think he has a forward move in him, and while he's yet to succeed at this distance, I think it's within his scope with the trip that Timeform US is projecting.
Agreed. I feel like he's going to work out the ideal trip in this spot. I will admit I'm not totally convinced that synth is better for him than turf. I think he may be slightly better on the grass, but that doesn't mean that he can't win in a spot like this. That most recent run, I agree with you, a little bit concerning about the way that he finished that day. But at the end of the day, if he works out an ideal trip in this spot and you're going to have possibly a 3 or 4 length head start on a horse like King in his court, I'll take a shot with him. I like him in this spot.
Give me numbers.
Just for me, it's a straight 4-6 exacta.
I'm going to go 4-2-1 in the $100,000 Sir Barton Stakes. It's the feature at Woodbine on Sunday. It kicks off the 20-cent pick 4. You can play it with a DRF Bets account. You know the drill by now. Go to bets.drf.com, sign up, get a 300% deposit match. Approximate post time for the Sir Barton, 4:38 Eastern on a Sunday afternoon at Woodbine. Best of luck.